This episode is brought to you by HASA. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the Bottom Feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hi, and welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about walking away from service accounts you may have on your route that you just don't like and want to get rid of. Also, walking away from potential bids and problems that you're going to really want to keep off of your pool service route. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy Coaching Program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support from me. I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. The first line of defense, and I'm speaking more or less if you have your pool route built up pretty well and you're established. Now, if you're starting out, you're going to have to kind of bend this rule a little bit, and you're going to take whatever you can get to make money. It's just one of those rules of business that when you're starting out, you're going to probably get all of the accounts that other pool pros pass on, and you're going to build a route with a bunch of pools that just aren't that great. Basically, they're okay. They may even be pretty terrible accounts, but you're getting them because you need the money, you need the work. You're also going to take any kind of cleanup that you get and any kind of repair call. Now, even with these, there are certain situations where you're going to have to walk away from the bid, and you can walk away in two ways from the bid successfully, in my opinion. You don't want to ghost the customer, go there, bid the pool, and then if they're messaging you, you just ignore them. That may lead to some bad online reviews. You've seen it before. People post a review like, hey, I called this guy, he never answered his phone, or I called him, he came and gave me a bid and never returned 1 star. So you don't want that to happen to your business. But what you can do when you bid a pool or a job you don't like, just times it by 3. And I'm serious here. Just triple the amount you would normally charge, and the customer will, of course, call someone else to get a lower bid. Now, there is a chance that they'll take that, and it's happened before to people that have used this strategy. And if they take the triple bid, then it's probably worth your effort to do that particular job or service that the customer is asking you for. I mean, you're getting paid 3 times what you normally would get paid. For example, if you get to a pool and they want you to do a cleanup on the pool and it just looks like a mess, you just don't want to do it, and normally you would charge $800 for the green pool cleanup, go ahead and just double that or triple it, charge them $2,000, and they'll probably balk on it and call someone else that will do it for less money. And that's an easy out for you. Just overbid the project and let someone else underbid you at that point. The other thing you can say is like, well, I came here to bid this property, and I understand that you want to get it done right away, but I really don't have time in my schedule to get started until about a week and a half from now. So I understand if you want to get other bids that can do the job faster. I'm just really booked up, and as a courtesy, I came over to see maybe if I can squeeze it in, but I realize it's going to take a lot of work to get this pool back in shape, and I just won't be able to get started, for 1 or 2 weeks. So I recommend you call someone else at this point that can really get on it right away, because it really needs to be handled immediately. So those are kind of ways and you can think of other ones to kind of let the customer down softly without really offending them. No one's really offended by a high bid. They'll just think, wow, this pool service is expensive. And I've had high bids given to me when I ask for projects, and I can tell right away that they don't really want to do the job, but they don't want to lose face either. So they'll just give me a bid that's, not reasonable. And that's kind of how they get out of it. And if I accept the bid, they'll do the job. But generally, I'll find someone who'll do it for less that really wants to do the job, if that makes sense. Other times they want to pass on something, even if you're starting out and you want to take all the work, is when your kind of radar spider sense goes off and you're like, there's something truly wrong with this person or the way they're asking for service. Now, there are scams out there, by the way, where they'll ask you to do pool service for them without even you meeting the person. They're moving into a new house, they'll say, and they just need service established. And they'll send you like 6 months advance payment for that. And then more than likely that payment will come in, look like it's good. And then they'll say that they overpaid and they'll want something back from you, like, $500 or $1,000. You'll send that back and then the payment will eventually bounce. So it's one of those things where there are scammers out there. I would probably never do a pool service job for somebody that I don't meet, or, you have to meet someone on the site. It's really important to get to know the person too. So make it kind of a rare thing and not the normal thing to take on a service account without meeting the customer first and kind of getting some details. And if they don't meet you and they want to hire you and pay you, I think that's a red flag in a lot of cases. I've had group members that have done green pool cleanups for, quote, landlords that, just don't meet them there at the site. And it causes loads of problem. Now, I do hire vendors without meeting them. I have done that, but that's different when you're doing, rental real estate. It's a little bit different than cleaning up pools and meeting customers for big jobs. They really should care enough about their pool to meet you there, especially if you're going to do monthly service. You really want to meet the person. And it's one of those things where blind bids are just not something that works out generally well in pool service. Meeting the people and having a real conversation, is the best way to kind of vent the person and vent the job itself. So if you see red flags, if you see grass knee-high in the backyard, broken down cars, a car on cinder blocks, it just looks like they're not taking care of their property, and the pool is green, and they want you to do a green pool cleanup. It's one of those things where it's like, well, the whole place is a disaster. Do I really want to work with this person? Are they going to really pay me the final payment? And by the way, you want to get 1/3 of that payment up front. I would say with a credit card for sure, so that it goes through, or cash. I wouldn't take a check or anything like that. I mean, you can scan the check right away nowadays, but it's one of those things where if it looks sketchy, it probably is sketchy, and you don't want to take that. And the Pool Guy Podcast Show has teamed up with UPA to bring you affordable, reliable liability insurance starting at just $64 a month. Get up to $2 million in coverage, and the members of my coaching group get an even lower rate. Protect your business and your peace of mind. Sign up with UPA today by clicking the link in the podcast description. Job. Now, what about pools that are on your route already that you want to get rid of because they're just not the greatest accounts? And I'll use this quote, and I use it a lot, and it's from Glenn, the creator of the Bottom Feeder. He said that 95% of your problems are going to come from 5% of the pools on your route. Once you get rid of that 5%, you're going to really love your job. Things are going to go well. You're going to get through your day fast. You won't be thinking, oh man, I got to go to that pool today. Those thoughts will be out of your head. Now, when you get to the point where you're established and you have a good amount of pools, you don't really need any extra work. And I really recommend that once you get established, you really pass on those jobs like green pool cleanups or things that you just don't want to spend time doing. There's no reason to take work on that you don't really want to do. I mean, just for business or money, to me, it's not worth it. It's better to focus on things that you want to do. So if you want to kind of expand your repairs, focus on that. If you want to expand acid washes, focus on that. I don't think many people enjoy doing green pool cleanups. I really don't enjoy it. I like the process and I like the results of it, but I would say it's probably the least enjoyable service that you can perform out there, in my opinion. Yes, you're the hero when you get it back to blue, but the whole process is just, yucky. Man, there's no other way to say it. And it's something that as you get established, you can move away from certain things you don't like doing, And you may like doing them, and so you may keep doing them. You may not like doing acid washes. I like doing acid washes. I think it's a really cool service, and I like the effect of it when it's done, but you may not like doing that either. So everyone's a little bit different, and your likes and dislikes will be different out there. And focus on what you like doing, because you're going to get better at it and you're going to excel, and drop the things you don't like doing, like pools with heavy debris is something that I really don't like doing. And you're going to get those pools, and then you're going to try to drop those pools eventually once you get a sweet pool. And this is called the 1-for-1 rule. It's been done in business everywhere. I didn't create it. I don't think anyone has created this. It probably goes all the way back to like Babylon. But when you get a good account that's like all cement, you can jump across the pool, it's so small. Customer is super nice. And then you have another pool that's 25,000 gallons, surrounded by oak trees and maple trees and pine trees that takes you 45 minutes to clean. That's the account that you're going to drop once you get that really nice, sweet account. Because the 1-for-1 rule, you just picked up one pool, you can drop one pool and not really lose any income, and actually have a much better pool on your route than the one that you drop. I used to use this, and this came back to bite me because, when they see you in your neighborhood still, it doesn't really work well. But I used to tell the customer, oh yeah, I'm kind of consolidating my service area, and I'm trying to get more centralized to where, all the pools are, and your pool is kind of outside my service area, so I won't be able to service your pool any longer. But if they see you like in the next block over or the next street over, that's the problem, because they're like, hey, am I just on the border of this, or is he not telling me the truth? So what I like to say to the customers when I want to drop a pool is, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, but I'm just overbooked with pool service accounts. I just have too many accounts, and I'm trying to consolidate. And unfortunately, I have to drop several accounts, and your pool is just one of those. And if you want a referral, definitely I'll get someone you can interview, but, you maybe call around and see if you can find somebody to do your pool. And after this month, I won't be able to service your pool anymore. And that's pretty simple, cut and dry. Everyone understands when you're overworked and overbooked. They're not going to press you and hey, I'm going to keep doing my pool. I know that you're working too much. That's not going to happen. And that's a clean way to drop the customer, even if they see you a block over or 2 blocks over. They understand that you're just trying not to do as much work. And that seems to be the cleanest way that I've discovered to get a customer off your route without them leaving a bad review. You never want to just stop or ghost them or not give them a reason why you're dropping their pool. And you never want to tell them, honestly, in my opinion, why you're dropping that pool. You can't just say, hey, Mr. Jones, your pool is just a terrible account. It's one of those accounts that nobody wants, and it's got too many leaves, and I just spend too much time here, and I'm just dumping the account because I just don't like doing your pool. That's pretty offensive to the customer. Sometimes honesty doesn't work in situations in business. You can just say you're consolidating, which is true, you are. You're getting rid of bad accounts that take you a lot of time for good accounts that take you less time. That's the definition that fits that kind of consolidating. So you're not telling an untruth to the customer, and you're being truthful when you say that you can no longer service their pool because you're consolidating and does take you too much time to do their pool. So that's the best policy, I think. Just keep it vague and just let them find someone else. You can refer a couple of people to them, but more than likely they're going to just tell the customer, oh, I can't do the pool. And, they'll just look at the pool and just walk away, basically. They may yell at you later, hey, why did you refer that pool to me? It's horrible. So I tend not to refer anybody. I'll just say, I really don't know anyone in the area, so I apologize for that. And that saves you kind of that end of it. But if you know someone who may want that pool, go ahead and give them that pool. It's not a big deal. These are pools that, by the way, you can't sell. You can't put a sign at the supplier and say, one pool for sale 8 times the monthly income. No one's going to buy that pool. So just get it off your route and be happy that it's gone. Now, what about other kind of things that pass on? Well, I think customers that pay late all the time are real pain. And so they would be on the short list as well. Maybe not quite, up there with the pools with heavy debris. I think pools that are far out of your area also should be dropped. If you're driving 10 or 15 minutes, unless you're in a rural area where that's the normal. If you're in the city and you have to drive so far out of your way for one pool, that pool should go as well. And I think there's nothing wrong with bidding a pool when you first get there. Let's say you're trying to build up your service route, you're advertising on Google, you get a call, you show up at the pool, and it's just not a pool that you like. You just don't want to do it. It's maybe 25,000 gallons and there's a slide there, maybe a diving board. These are like really old pools, by the way, here. If they have a diving board and a slide, it's like 9.5 feet deep, and you see a lot of kids running around in the backyard. Your first thought is, I don't want to do this account. And so you don't have to take it. I mean, there's other accounts that are going to come up that are better, and there's nothing wrong with passing an account that you're not going to like. I don't really like heavy use pools myself, so I just like pools where the customer never uses them. It's like a decoration back there, and they may use them occasionally, but pools that get killed back there, I try to avoid, because you're basically like doing a commercial pool in a residential backyard, and it's just no fun. So if the pool looks difficult, or if the equipment looks really old and the customer looks like they're not going to upgrade, but the customer tells you, yeah, my last pool guy said I should upgrade, and I'm definitely going to do it, well, then give them a bid for the service and the upgrade. And if they do both, then I think it's definitely something you could take. But if they're like, well, I'm going to wait a few more months on upgrading the equipment, and then you can kindly pass on that by saying, well, the only reason I would take the pool is if I would upgrade the equipment because it really needs it for the pool to be maintained properly. So if you're ready to have us do your pool service, we can definitely put in the new pump and motor, new filter for you at the time when you hire us, and leave it at that. There's all different ways to do it, but there are a lot of situations where saying bye or saying no is the right thing to do. It's going to save you a lot of headache, because if you do take on a pool or a job that you should have passed on, and you're going to know right away, like the next week or the next day, like, oh man, I should not have taken that account. It's much harder to get rid of it once you get it on your route. It's much harder to get rid of a green pool cleanup once you accept the bid, or the customer accepts your bid and you're supposed to start doing it. So rather than being in that situation, which I've been in myself, I understand the kind of, beating yourself up over it. It's one of those things where if you can avoid doing that, and, don't be too codependent about like, oh, I got to take this account because you feel sorry for the person or whatever. Just don't do that. You're going to save yourself a lot of grief if you just walk away. And if you do happen to take it, and one of my members did this, took on a pool that he shouldn't have taken on, he just called the customer actually like the next day and said, oh, you know what? I know I said yes to the service, but I realize now after looking at my route, looking at the map that I have generated, that I just won't be able to fit you in on this day. And so I'm sorry, but I have to pass on it. And if you get another bid, and I really apologize for that. I should have checked first, and it's my mistake. Fall on the sword, but get that pool off right away as soon as you can, so that you're not suffering and doing a pool that you just didn't want and you took, and it happens. I understand. But saying no, saying bye are key to being successful in your business. Looking for other podcasts, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel Monday through Friday. I have an episode posted there. Also on my website, swimmingpoollearning.com, if you click on the podcast icon, there's a drop-down menu with over 1,700 podcasts. And if you're interested in the coaching program, you can learn more at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.